So you've probably all heard by now that the infamous Festival of Brexit, rebranded, shall we say, Unboxed, because no one when approached as the sort of Festival of Brexit wanted to do it, because no one wanted to do this massive jingoistic thing that would be very, very divisive, to say the least, when they brought these types of project to the fore. Probably not a lot of people would want to do it. And not a lot of people would want to be associated with it either. And unsurprisingly, of course, the rebranding effort, turning it to Unboxed, as we covered just a couple of months ago, didn't work. Now, why did this festival happen to begin with? Well, you may remember that the government had a massive funding cut to the arts and culture. Massive cut. And their answer was, well, instead of the money that would normally be given to sort of, arts and cultural projects all up and down the UK, instead, we're just going to spend a very paltry 120 million and that'll be it. and that's what their answer was. To change it from, this, from what was, you can argue, how good or bad the previous funding was, but it was certainly better than changing it to this Unboxed / Festival of Brexit, which was what was put forward. Remember, this was sold as this was going to be the great exhibition of our times. This was going to be the new Alexander Palace, this new glass palace that we would build that would showcase Britain to the world. This was what was put forward. And bear in mind, we are following the exact same plans that the exact same ideas of this free market fundamentalism did as well. They did the whole great exhibition to show how wonderful the UK was and then convince people that we should go to 0% tariffs. It failed spectacularly and it was reversed within 6 years. But of course, that's certainly a topic for another time. But let's go into this disaster, because there is the initial report and there has since been a follow-up report, which not a lot of people have probably seen. So before we go diving into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. There is also the YouTube thank you button down below as well. So that's a one-off donation link if you'd like to use that. Or there is also the YouTube subscription pony club we've got down below, where you get badges and emojis that you can use on the channel and on the live stream as well. So let's go over to this today. So this, first of all, this is the original story that broke it from the house. So this is the original one. This is what a lot of people have been sort of referring to or using tidbits from. So, exclusive. Unboxed, the arts festival, widely dubbed the Festival of Brexit, has seen just 238,000 visitors against its organizers' initial stretch target of 66 million. Yeah, I think someone maybe overvalued this project. And this, despite the festival costing £120 million. That is more than 4 times the cost of the celebrations to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Just imagine that. We spent more money on this Festival of Brexit than we did on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. And you may remember back at the time when we were reporting initially about this, or when this was first coming up, I said, I'm half tempted to just, put in a project, because you could get a lot of money. You could get a lot of money out of these projects and just do practically nothing, and then just go, well, that's all the money, as you sneak off with your, giant money bag, going, well, that's my project done. I was very tempted to try and do it. I've known a lot of people do a lot less for other training contracts, but there you go. So anyway, so the revelation comes after investigation by the House magazine published today. The festival, dubbed the Festival of Brexit, has been widely slated by MPs on the Digital Culture and Media Sport and Select Committee back in March, who described it as a recipe for failure and a prime example of a large-scale project with aims that are vague and ripe for misinterpretation. After the government shifted its purpose away from its stated aims to celebrate leaving the European Union, the project's director, Martin Green, told the House it had been, quote, unfortunate that the Festival of Brexit tag had stuck to the event, he said. We must all learn from this. Rule one of major events, don't politicize them. And unfortunately, a few chose to politicize it from the beginning. Who were those people? Well, they were the Brexiteers. The House has also learnt that participants in the Festival of Brexit went so far as insisting that it would be part of their contracts that Brexit not be mentioned. Donald Shaw, a musician who served as part of the musical director for one of the events, a 3-day musical festival in Kevlow Park in Scotland called Dandelion, told the House, it was a red line in our contracts with Unboxed. When the festival was announced, we said that if literally one MP stood up and said, this is the Festival of Brexit, we are going to pull out. The Scottish government made that clear to the UK government. A spokesperson for Unboxed said, there are absolutely no references to Brexit in our full commissioning agreements with all 10 projects, but did not provide further details. Another attended by the House aimed to take groups that wouldn't have access to areas of natural beauty and film them to produce video content. The resulting video was from the event has only been viewed over 1,000 times. A spokesperson for Unboxed said, with 10 projects, each delivered by multiple partners, I wonder how much money they're walking away with, considering how easy that would have been to put on. I could have ran that easily for $1,000 and charged probably 3 times that amount. But there you go. A spokesperson for Unboxed said, with these 10 projects, each developed by multiple partners and a significant number of events running concurrently, the plan has always been to release engagement data as part of the final evaluation. They went on to say, some initial data and information is due to be released in November, once all the live events are concluded. That will make for some very fun reading. That will make for some very fun reading in November. The Unboxed team monitor the attendance at the individual activity for all the 7 projects now currently live, and are pleased with how the public are engaging. So, do we go to that one, or do we go? Oh, let's go to this one, because this one was the more recent one, which I wanted to show you on to next. So we're going to move on to this one next. So this is the next article. This has sort of been the follow-up to this, and it does not bode well that we've had all this, literally, as this article says it, squandering of money on a catastrophic project dubbed the Festival of Brexit. So, here we go. The government has been accused of squandering almost £120 million on an arts project dubbed the Festival of Brexit, and told to, quote, learn the lessons from widely criticised venture. Following the investigation by House magazine, Unboxed has been described by the chair of the Digital Media and Culture Select Committee as a catastrophic failure with atrocious visitor numbers. The Select Committee declared in March the festival was a recipe for failure and a prime example of a large-scale project and aims that are vague and ripe for misinterpretation. The DMS Select Claire Julian Knight reacted to the House investigation, revealing that the festival had just attracted just 238,000 visitors against the initial stretch target of over 66 million. I can't believe they would set that as a number. 66 million. That's insane. But there you go. He described Unboxed as looking like an event of more catastrophic failure than we have even thought possible. These atrocious visitor numbers were way under the numbers that they were promising, which were in the millions, Knight told Politics Home. The way in which the Unboxed Festival has been botched from the start, it looks like the classic by committee, like the Millennium Dome, the type of arrangement where they think if they build it, they will come. And actually, they've built it and no one has come. Knight had said earlier that Unboxed, the official name of the event, initially dubbed the Festival of Brexit, sounded like a packing company. Martin Green, the chief creative officer, responded and said, unfortunately, it appears the whole role of the select committee is just to bash the department they're selecting. We said to them, in 2 weeks, we will gladly take you through the project in detail. And they did not take us up on that offer, which I think shows their interest, what their interest actually was. I'm sure they will take you up on this. Like I say, they're on holiday at the moment, so the likelihood that they can get together and arrange a meeting, but I fully expect this to be commented on. I fully expect this to be commented on. If I was a Labour MP and I was on the select committee, or I knew someone was a select committee, I'd be pushing them to go for this, just to massively embarrass the government on this. When asked about Green's comments, Knight said, Martin Green came in from the select committee, so had the perfect opportunity to account what he was up to. I think he's getting a bit sensitive because clearly it has been a massive failure. I'm real sorry, but the truth hurts. The fact of the matter, it has so massively underperformed that when he was promised by the select committee it would be, he didn't even shoot the messenger. The Conservative MP added, this could have been a great opportunity to really help out the hospitality sector and areas that have really struggled with the pandemic. It looks to me as if the money has been squandered. Lucy Powell, Labour's shadow digital culture and secretary, has suggested in her response to the House report that a government department should learn the lessons from the festival. She said, after the chaos and uncertainty of the COVID lockdowns and hit by rising food and fuel and energy bills, we could have done with a bit of an uplifting celebration for our country. Instead, the Tories had a moment of patriotic coming together to try and score political points, and the British people saw right through them. £120 million is a huge amount of public funds to invest in the festival that fell flat. DCMS should learn the lessons to ensure that we don't have more publicly funded festivals viewed, and in some cases, by only just 1,000 people. Rather than stoking division and trying to trash our great British institutions, Labour deal with the cost of living crisis hitting working families. It is understood that all MPs on the DCMS select committees will be consulted before it is decided whether to ask those responsible for Unboxed to come before MPs again. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. One member has already expressed interest in scrutinising the Culture Secretary in light of the latest revisions. So that's Nadine Dorris, probably up for a good grilling again. Oh, that'll be fun. The DCMS committee did an investigation into this now proven turkey last year, and it predicted that it would be a failure. These worse than expected metrics mean that the Culture Secretary needs to come before the DCMS Select Committee and explain how spending on this unnoticed festival can possibly be justified, as so few people have even heard of the Unboxed Festival, let alone even attended the events. At a time when millions of people are facing hardship due to rising costs, including creatives who were meant to be supported, who weren't even supported during the pandemic, and at a time when the creative arts industries is suffering the consequences of people having less disposable income, the government shouldn't have been going ahead with this very self-indulgent pet project. Ken Berman, another Labour MP on the committee, told Politics Home in a personal capacity, Brexit has done so much damage to our creative industries that it doesn't even come as a surprise when an initiative that was originally conceived as a celebration of it even struggled to find its purpose. It's a shame because there were well-intentioned people involved, but culture needs to be nurtured from the ground up rather than force-fed from the top down. And yeah, I completely agree. And we saw this right from the bat, what this festival was really intended to be. It was intended to be a full, complete festival of Brexit. And that's what it was. That's what many Conservative MPs wanted. That is what, if you remember, going back to the wallpaper scandal, that's what one of those donors, contributed so much money to actually get off the ground. So they tried to rebrand it as Unboxed to make it sort of less diversive, but no, that moniker stuck because that's what initially it started off as. And many Conservative MPs kept on branding it as the Festival of Brexit. So what a surprise that a festival meant to celebrate something that is clearly failing and doing a lot of damage to British creative industries, as that Labour MP pointed out very correctly. What a surprise that the very festival, a festival that was meant to celebrate this very clearly failing political project, is now a failure within itself. And I have to say, I do hope they drag Nadine Dorries before the select committee and start grilling her on some of these questions, because I think a lot of these questions need to be answered. The fact that we've spent 4 times as much money than we did on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, Nadine Dorries has some questions to answer. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you all next time.